Okay, great. Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Township of Springfield Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for March 21st, 2023. The time is now 6:08. Let's stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I may have done that backwards, I apologize, but let me just get this out. Adequate notice of the meeting has been given in accordance with the Sunshine Law. Notice was published on January 5th, 2023 in the Star Ledger, one of the official newspapers for the Township of Springfield for the year 2023, and posted in the Annex Building on January 6th, 2023. Notice is also posted to the Springfield website. Can we please have the roll call?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Hochstein. Here. Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Poltrock. Mr. Furstenbaum.
Here.
Mrs. Sadat. Mr. Wexstein. Vice Chair Laffer.
Present.
Chairwoman Jody Cohen.
Here.
4 members.
We'll start with the minutes from February 2023. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Are there any questions, comments? If there are none, is there a motion to approve them?
Moved.
Thank you. I'll second, okay.
Can I say moved as to both?
It's just the minutes.
That's what I mean. To do,
Oh,
moved and affirmative.
Mr. Hochstein.
Yes.
Mr. Laffer.
Abstain.
Ms. Cohen.
yes. Good evening. I guess the record should show that Chairman Saad is here. Okay, Chair, board member, thank you. Really?
I didn't want to say.
No, it's fine.
Don't be late again.
Okay.
If he's late again, he will be the chairman.
Yeah. We'll move on to the resolutions for memorialization. This sounds so loud. The first resolution that we have up this evening is application 2023-3. This is for block 601, lot 6, for a rear yard variance for the addition. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the resolution? Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion? I will move.
Second. Madam Cohen. Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein.
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadat.
Yes.
Mr. Laffer.
Abstain.
Motion passes.
Yes. Resolution for memorialization is application 2023-2 for block 5313, lot 1, front yard variance for a pool. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the resolution? Are there any questions or comments? If there are none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
And second.
Mr. Sadat.
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum.
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein.
Yes.
Vice Chair Laffer.
Abstain.
Chairwoman Cohen.
Yes.
Motion's approved.
Great. Okay, we're going to move to the applications. We're gonna go a little out of order. Let's call up, Steve Hale. This is application 2023-5 for block 4001, lot 3 for preliminary and final site plan approval with variance relief.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, board members. Stephen Hale, representing the applicant, Catalyst. And yes, I had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Bergen, your counsel, and being that this is a conditional use variance requiring the 5 affirmative votes, we'd like to carry this application this evening to next month's meeting without the requirement of further notice. We would like to see if it's possible between now and that time to arrange a special meeting. We'll do our best. And we can coordinate that with Jen and check on the availability of board members. But and we would stipulate to any, I don't think we're close on the time, but any appropriate extension of the 120-day time period for this. And I'm actually going to wait until at least 6:30 to see if any members of the public may show up on this application.
Okay. Do we need a motion? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hale. Can I have a motion to carry to the April? Thank you.
Second.
Before we,
Yes.
I may not be at the next meeting,
Okay.
so if you need 5, I don't know if I count as a warm body that's needed, but.
Well, you wanted to talk about a special, so.
So the month of Ramadan is starting Thursday.
Accurate, yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna make it difficult at this hour.
The next meeting as listed is April 18th, so I don't know who has conflicts other than Mr. Siddall.
When does Ramadan?
We'll deal with it.
It's 30 days, but this, I'm happy to say yes and not be here, but I just don't want you to come back again.
No, I appreciate that, yeah.
Okay. We'll carry because the meeting will take place, and if necessary, to have it moved because we don't have an adequate number, we will then move.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, if it's on that date, we would re-notify regardless.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, well, did you take your roll?
So I had a 1 and
Oh.
a 2.
Yep, I had 1 and 2.
Yes.
Mr. Laufer?
Yep.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum?
Yes.
Mrs. Saddah?
Yeah.
And Chairwoman Cohen.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time this evening, and see you next month.
Just so the record's
Yeah.
clear for the public, the next meeting is April 18th, 2023 at 6 PM in this room, and this applicant will not be sending new notices to proceed on that date.
Yeah, unless the date changes, correct.
Correct.
All right, thank you again, and I don't know if there's any members, I think these are all the applicants, but on the other cases, but if there's anyone here, we're here if anybody has any questions, so. Thank you again. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, let's move to the first application on the agenda, which is application 2023-6, 154 Baltusrol Avenue, Block 606, Lot 4, bulk variance relief is requested to convert a garage into living space. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. We'll swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please state your full name, spell your last name, and give us your home address.
Adam Watts, W-A-T-T-S. My address is 154 Baltusrol Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Watts. Can you tell us, just walk us through what you're looking to do and your reasons for the relief that you're requesting?
Yeah, we've lived in Springfield for 3.5 years. This is our first house, and we've come to enjoy our home, neighbors, and neighborhood's annual block party. The proposed project is to convert our single-car garage into a finished living space containing a single room, large closet, and full bathroom. We moved in when our oldest child was 9 months old, and since then have had our second child. Both sets of our parents live out of state and come to visit their grandchildren often. They stay overnight, and we would like a separate guest area for them. Additionally, 2 years ago, my father-in-law had a heart attack and a stroke with lasting motor and balance impairments. We do not have a bathroom on the main floor of our home, and after many months of physical therapy, he still has trouble going up and down stairs to reach either of the bathrooms. We've realized that as our parents get older, this will be increasingly the case, and it's important to us that our children spend time with their grandparents as long and often as possible. And we want to make sure that our home is not a limiting factor in this. Also, having to potty train 2 children without a main floor bathroom has proven to be difficult. The proposed project solves all of these issues, giving us a full bath on the main floor and a separate area for guests with no flights of stairs to navigate. It would also add value to our home. My understanding of the need for variance is the off-street parking requirements that state that our property, after renovation, will require 2.5 parking spaces, one of which needs to be in a garage. However, as you can see on my application, the garage opens to the rear of the property, and a previous owner removed the majority of the driveway in the backyard, making it impossible to get a car into the garage. Therefore, the proposed project does not reduce the amount of parking on the property. Regardless, we have sufficient parking in the driveway alone. Per the New Jersey Residential Site Improvement Standards referenced by the Springfield ordinances, a standard parking space is 18 feet in length, and after renovation, our driveway will be 74 feet long, containing 4 parking spaces. So in summary, the renovation would greatly increase the livability and value of the house for ourselves and future occupants. The amount of parking, which is already adequate, would remain unchanged. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, members of the board, any questions?
I have just a couple of questions.
Yep.
When you eliminate the garage door, are you going to put a door where people can come in and out of there separate, or is it just going to be a window there?
No, there's going to be a small window into the bathroom, and we already have a second door exiting to the back of our house in a sunroom that was converted into a permanent room previously.
So there's no way to come in and out independently into that space? It would have to be go through?
Correct.
the house.
It's through the main house.
And as you testified, you're not using the garage now because you physically can't get your car in there anyway, correct?
Yeah, not for parking, no.
What are you going to do with all the stuff that's in the garage now?
Yeah, so we moved in with a lot of stuff, and we've been slowly clearing that out. For yard tools, we have a small shed on the side of the house, and we're going to get a larger standing shed somewhere, on the back of the property as well as necessary. But mainly we're cleaning house. But we will have a significant amount of storage in there already. The closet, on the plans is 5 feet by, I think, 8 feet. So it's going to be, we intend to use it as a pantry, but we're going to be putting a lot of stuff in there as well.
I just have a question for a zoning official. If they want to put a shed on there, is that something that you have to come back for? Because his lot coverage is at 35.5, and would he be?
They increase lot coverage, they would have another variance.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the project is all interior, doesn't change the lot coverage, but I understand that if I want a shed, I'd have to come back for that.
Are you touching the garage door?
Yeah, we're going to close it up.
Meaning you're going to remove...
We're going to remove...
You're going to turn it into a normal door?
Putting a window there, he said.
Yeah, we're sort of sealing that up, and there's going to be a
Okay.
window in that area, yeah.
And that, to repeat, that's going to be a full bathroom, it's going to be a closet, and what else?
Just a spare room that we intend to use for guests.
You mean sealing it like you're gonna match the siding that exists?
As best we can, yeah. So what we've been told is that, they're gonna remove the garage door, they'll put siding up, and they'll paint match it, is the idea. They said if we were able to find the exact matching siding, because of fading and discoloration over time, it wouldn't be exact, but they say that they can paint match it fairly well.
I have some, are you done? I'm done. Thank you. This is the most interesting garage door, one of the most interesting ones I've ever seen. So,
Like the orientation of it?
well, in relation to the driveway, and that's kind of what I was going to ask you. I mean, do you have any idea, do you know if a prior owner changed the driveway layout?
Yeah, so actually, two owners ago live in our neighborhood still, and we've met them and talked to them. And she actually asked us, she's like, "Oh, don't you love the driveway in the back of your house? My kids would ride their bikes there all the time." We're like, "What are you talking about? You can get bikes in and out, but that's about it." So the interim neighbor, who we don't know, actually there's been two interim neighbors, 2 ago. So we know the one 3 ago, 2 ago, cut the driveway off, and I don't know what the reasoning for that is. My best guess is the guy liked motorcycles and he wanted more grass, and you can still get a motorcycle, in and out of the garage. But when it was sold to us, those previous owners didn't have any knowledge of what had happened.
So the person you had a conversation with was not James or Elizabeth Agro? Does that name ring a bell?
I believe that's the people that I had the conversation with, but I'm pretty bad with names.
All right, so they didn't do it. The people after them had to have done it.
That's my understanding.
And
Yes.
the people after them are the people who you bought the property from.
No, I misspoke earlier. There's one additional person in the middle there.
So I'm looking at the land records, right? And it says that William and Lindsay Shedler bought it from James and Elizabeth Agro.
Oh, okay, then I was mistaken. Does it say who the Agros bought it from?
I don't have that. The land records would say it, but not. I don't have that magical powers from here.
Okay, to be honest, I can't remember the names of the people, the last
problem.
names of the people, yeah, but I guess it would have had to been the Agros, is my best guess.
And the Agros are not the people who had the motorcycle?
The motorcycle's just conjecture on my part.
All right, so you don't have any idea how this happened?
That's
Which is
accurate.
fair.
That's
No-
accurate, yeah.
Okay, all right. And aside from your driveway, I see a play area, I see a paver patio. You said there's a shed. You have one.
So it's like I don't know. It's a half height shed, and it is if you're looking at the survey on the right side of the house, you see where it says wood curb. There's that little patio that extends around to the side of the house. It's just sitting there. I mean, it doesn't even go up to. It's below my windows. So I can fit a lawnmower in there. You know, that sort of stuff.
And now, sticking with the storage questions, because I've had this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a full dugout basement, like fully?
Yeah, our basement's finished.
It's finished, okay.
Yes. So we plan to use that for a significant amount of storage.
Your finished basement for storage? I'm just making sure, it's your house.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of the stuff that accumulated over time were children's, toys, and so we plan to make that into a playroom. And currently, we have a full, queen size bed down there, and we want to move that out of the basement and up into the first floor into the guest area.
And the garage, the door that would lead into what's now the garage, into your contemplated room, where would that come from?
The kitchen. So currently in the house, if you are in the kitchen and you want to go, to the garage, there's a little landing there. To your left, stairs goes down to the basement, and straight ahead you go into the garage. So we wouldn't be changing any interior doorways or entrance to the garage.
Would you plan on using it like at all as a bedroom for one of your kids or anything like that?
Not for our kids, but we plan to put like a Murphy bed in there for guests. So it would sort of be a dual use area. So kind of a playroom for the kids, and then guest area as needed.
Is there going to be a closet as well?
Yeah, so we're going to have the large closet, which we are primarily going to use as a pantry and store, other things. I think I'm going to put, my tools and stuff in there. We wouldn't specifically be using it, for clothes, but certainly if somebody in the future wanted to use it as like a first floor master, that'd be, their option.
So you go into the room from the kitchen, and then I guess to the right would be the hypothetical pantry closet.
Correct.
Area, and then just past that, if you were to skip that room, go past it, turn right, that's where the bathroom would be.
Correct.
And it would still be on a slab, so you wouldn't be like digging any foundation, it would be on the same slab that the garage is probably on, I presume?
Yeah, so it's actually, we're going to put a raised subfloor because there is a not insignificant height difference from the landing in the house down into the garage. Right now we have, a set of wooden steps there, but instead of having, a large step down because of, the issues with my father-in-law, we're going to have them, raise that up a little bit, so it's just a single step down. So it'll be a total of 2 steps, from the kitchen, but a step to a large landing, and then onward. But we're not digging new foundation. We're going to take the slab of the garage that's there and build a subfloor on top of that, is my understanding.
Is there any, from a building standpoint, is there anything, like from a patio, if you put a patio, or you would put a landing, like an outside stoop or anything like that? Is there anything from an engineering standpoint, or any building standpoint that's needed over and above?
Actually, there is something that I'm going to mention. If you're raising up that floor, your windows aren't going to work. So you're going to have to put new windows in, and if it's a bedroom, you're going to have to put an egress window in there. So you're going to have to change the windows in there because the windows that are there are not going to work, just so you know.
So one of the windows is pretty high up on the wall, and it's really so that it lines up well with the front of the house. But so what's the issue with the windows not working?
If you raise the floor up considerably, that window on the left-hand side is going to have to be taken out and raised in order for it to work. Plus, it has to be an egress window to the bedroom. Do you have an architect or somebody that's preparing these plans for you?
So my builder has somebody that drew plans, and they were attached to the variance project themselves. I think the subfloor is going to be a matter of inches, certainly not feet. I mean, it's a single-story garage. We don't want to, put it up too high. If I had to estimate, it would be about 5 to 6 inches.
Well, I am an architect, I'll tell you, you should have
Okay.
somebody study that, and it
should-
doesn't work the way you have it.
Okay, it should be looked at. Okay. Yeah, there's one window in there that is already going to be an egress window, and we do have in the plan him putting in a window to the finished space that is not currently there into the living area. So our idea is that was going to serve as the egress window. But you're saying the specifics of that from a coding standpoint need to be looked at. Okay.
A licensed architect do that for you and figure it out.
Okay.
How many cars do we think he could put in the driveway?
I heard 74 feet, which I presume is from the street to the rear, or to the rear gate.
Yeah, so it's the corner of on the survey, if you have it, the corner of the gate that hits the corner of the house. It's that corner of the house to the curb, 74 feet.
So the applicant had indicated the standard parking lot space is 18. When you parallel, it would be 22, but so 74 divided by 18, you've got
4.
3 to 4 to fraction.
You gotta be bumper to bumper. Right.
Bumper to bumper.
4 cars and a tricycle.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the current car that we have is shorter, than 18 feet. It's something we're gonna have to keep in mind, moving forward, purchasing vehicles for the family, so.
Any other questions from the board?
None.
Okay, I'll open it to the public. Are there any members of the public that are present that have questions? Questions only, or can I open it up first? Yeah. Okay, any questions? Okay, so we will close that portion. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this application? Please come forward.
Actually going next for variance, but we happen to live behind each other.
You have to speak into the microphone,
I'm actually going next for.
and you have to be sworn in.
Okay,
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
State your full name, spell your last name, give your home address.
Greg Horn, last name Horn, Horne, at 54 Springbrook Road. I just so happen to be applying next for variance, and we live diagonally behind each other. But I would just say that I'm in favor of his plan because the garage is really unusable from a garage standpoint in the way that you see in the driveway come up. I don't know why some of the houses in the neighborhood were built like this, but my next door neighbor has it, his house has it, I think 1 or 2 others have it. So just from a general going forward planning of the neighborhood, I just don't see the utility of maybe their house having the garage code, but so just as someone who lives immediately near him, I would be in favor of them doing something with that space other than a garage. That's all.
Thank you. Okay. Any other members of the public? No, we will close that portion. Board members? Any thoughts?
The fact that you cannot use it for a garage, functionally, does impact my thoughts about this. And the fact that you're not putting a door there, because one of my concerns was, could this be, a little studio or something that you would rent out? And the fact that you have to go through the house is, also affecting. I would be in favor of this, but on the condition that you put in real plans, because these plans don't work.
Okay, so your suggestion would be hire an architect for this process to draw?
You're required to have an architect
Okay.
unless you prepare them yourself.
Okay, unless I prepare them myself?
You can do the plans yourself, you're allowed to. If not, you have to hire an architect. Your contractor's not allowed to do plans.
Okay, very good.
Suffice to say, there are building permits required. If he gets an affirmative vote, he'll have to go to the building.
Correct. Good way of putting it, better than me.
think something has to be done. It's just from a stylistic standpoint, I mean, thank God this is in the back, because if it was looking to the front and we had different colored siding, then it would be an issue, but I'm not married to the idea because it's not a big wall. If you were to close up that whole wall and make it like an accent exterior wall, even if it's like different siding, like completely different. it might
I see
look
what you're
good.
saying.
But that's up to you. It's to the back. It's not gonna affect like curb appeal or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, we hadn't considered an accent wall.
I wouldn't require that as a condition necessarily. I'm okay with the proposal, subject to appropriate plans and. Was there a motion?
I don't think there was a motion yet. I just want to put on the record that I would normally not be in favor of a conversion of the garage. I would not necessarily grant the relief if there were means of accessing the garage and being able to, traverse there. But being that you can't, and that there is ample room in the driveway to park 3, maybe 4 cars, I think that this would be better planning for this space. So I would be in favor of it. So, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lawfer,
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein,
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum,
No.
Mr. Sada,
Yes.
Chair Cohen,
Yes,
4 to 1 in favor.
passed.
Good luck.
Thank you. So, just real quick, for clarity's sake, the architectural drawings are something that I will need to have when we apply for permits for the job in general. Okay, thank you.
Next application, application 2023-7, Greg Horn, block 606, lot 29, request for lot coverage and side yard variances. Good evening.
Hello again.
Is he still under oath or are we swearing him in for this application?
We could do it.
I remember that you're under oath for these proceedings,
Yes.
but do state your name again, please.
My name is Greg Horn, Horn, Horne, live at 54 Springbrook Road.
Okay, good evening. Please tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do and the request that you're making this evening for your relief.
Okay, so we're finishing up an addition to the home, which kind of annihilated the backyard, so we're redoing it a little bit. We had to dig out the foundation, went through everything, so now we're trying to do the backyard, and we're already at lot coverage maximum, so which is why we need the variance for any sort of patio we want to do. We already had clearance for the spa, which is included, but we want to change the location, which I want to talk to you about. So the area behind the house does not drain real well. In the summertime, when it's hot, the ground dries pretty well, but like in spring, fall, and winter, it gets kind of boggy right behind the house. And it would be much better for a patio there. We have a large dog. We spend a lot of time outside. Always turns to muck. We had a problem before the addition. So we'd like to just put a patio out there. And for that, for the stormwater management plan included drainage, which will account for the whole back roof and the patio, catch that, put it into a huge dry well. And so I don't think the rainwater will be an issue as far as flooding my neighbors' yards. The yard doesn't really flood right now, so with the dry wells, I'm sure it will stay dry. I think that would be the chief concern from neighbors as far as stormwater runoff. And then the patio, the spa location, where it was approved, my one neighbor's driveway has that garage that faces backwards, like we just discussed. His driveway comes all the way up the side of the house and kind of terminates there. And the way the house is angled to the street, that side of the yard, you can see from the street. So between the neighbor's driveway and the street, it's not really a private location to have a hot tub. So we want to swing it to the other side where we have giant green arborvitae. It's much more shielded from the street. We have greenery there that shields it. but it puts it within 10 feet or so of my other neighbor's yard. And if you shift it over 5 more feet, it puts it smack dab like in the middle of the patio, which, you know, would ruin kind of the use of the patio. So we were just requesting that we be able to put it at the 10-foot mark from the neighbor. That's kind of the gist of the scope.
Can I just, is the spa on the left side of the property, or the survey as we're looking at it, or the right side?
If you're looking at the house from the street, you'd be on the right side. Here.
So where it's shown on the survey, more to the right?
No, right there.
Right there, where you're showing it?
Right there where I show it, but that kind of puts it right at the 10-foot mark or so, depending on exactly where that line is, might be 11, 10.
Isn't that existing, though, with the,
I have the spot, like, if you look at the satellite imagery page, that spot, I want to flip the spot to the other side, essentially. But that would put it too close to my other neighbor's property line.
So it's on the right now, you want to move it to the left? Of your, like, if you're looking at the house from the street, it's on the right side of your property, like on the survey, right now.
Look, if, the survey I haven't moved. If you're looking at my house from the street, it's on the left-hand side, and I want to put it on the right-hand side.
And that's where you're showing it on the survey.
Where I'm showing, yeah, I drew it where I want to put it, yeah.
And that's within 10 feet.
Yeah, it's about 10, 11 feet. Again, it's like 10 feet from the fence, but I'm not sure if the fence is, well, I don't know. It's a weird, because the line is slanted from the street. The 2 lots are not square, so
I'm trying to understand if the placement of the spa on the right side requires relief.
So I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it does, because it says the required is 8. And
Oh, I
it looks
thought-
like it's within, it's still, right, the setback, the house already exceeds that at 6, so it's already
yeah, the spa,
non-conformity.
I
the
thought it was
house.
15. I thought the spa setback was 15. That's what I was.
Okay.
So if it's
That-
not, if it's more than 8, if it's just 8 feet, then it will conform at 8 feet, if that's a requirement.
That's for setback. Is there a different requirement for the spa, for like a spa or something like that? General?
No, I think what Mr. Horn is saying is that the spa has to be 15.
Right.
Yes,
So it's not
and
a side
that's, it's not the side yard that we're talking about. That's right.
I don't understand, in your verbiage, you indicate that the site of the patio always turns, and I'm quoting, into mud.
It doesn't get a lot of good sunshine. In the summertime, it dries out pretty well, but just the way the sun goes, and if you get any sort of rain and moisture in the back,
I'm just wondering, if you change the configuration, what happens to the mud?
well, it'll be all stone. It's gonna be all patio where it gets mucky.
Where does the moisture?
Go
Yeah,
into the dry well that we dug. That's a huge dry well going in.
So, to be clear,
and
you're,
if you, just to finish, and I really don't understand.
Okay.
If you have a dry well there, it's obvious that there's a drainage issue.
Oh, the dry well's new. The dry well's not, we don't have a dry well right now.
And that's to alleviate the drainage issue.
Right, we would need, when we did the addition, we needed a stormwater. We made the house on the back much bigger, within code, right? We did everything, went through the proper channels, right? But we had to show how we would carry that water. So the dry well's part for the back roof to make sure we're capturing that water. But then I also made the dry well in these plans even bigger to make sure that I could capture any the patio. So in the planning, like I'm calling for like 1,000, it's in there, it's like 1,100 square feet. That's like 700 square foot of roof, and then 330 square feet of patio, to make sure it's calculated to capture all that rainwater runoff.
So you're in the process of doing your addition?
It's, knock on wood, we're in the home stretches.
Okay, but, okay, so this wasn't years back where the dry well, you still have water and it was, this is, right, this is all being done at this
Right.
currently?
Right, this is all being done currently. It's more like in the wintertime, think of like a permafrost situation where like the sun, for whatever reason, doesn't get like that 10 to 12 feet section off the back of the house real well. It gets the backyard well. But like when it's not 90 out and sunny and it's only like 40, 50, 60, and you've got rain and like we've had this winter, a lot of rain and water, and you got a 100-pound Labrador running around the backyard, it, you know, it just creates a pretty mucky, muddy situation for us, like right out the back door.
Is this work done already?
No, the patio is not done. We did the dry well because I had to anyway.
Yeah, the dry well is different.
Right.
So you, okay.
Yeah, the patio's not been done. The patio has not been done. Right now, my backyard is just dirt. It's just a dirt.
Okay. You're just, and you're
landscape.
hoping to just stone a larger part of it.
Yeah, do like, a rectangle patio off the back, just change that spot location over, and then, like I said, I had to do the drywall anyway, so I made the drywall bigger in the event the patio was approved anyway. It didn't, you know, you dig in the drywall as well, just dig it a little bit bigger.
Is the spa enclosed?
Is the spot what?
Enclosed.
Some greenery, so we have giant green arborvitae on the one side, and then the back.
Is it fenced?
Oh, fence, yeah, we have a fenced-in backyard, yep.
No, is the spa itself fenced around?
No, it has a lockable cover,
Okay. Okay.
backyard fence, but yeah, lockable cover for the spa.
I just have a question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to be clear, when you're saying it's muddy, it's not because of groundwater, it's because you just can't get anything to grow there? Is that,
It's a lot, yeah, well, you could grow grass, but the problem is like, if you play like any sport, you play soccer or something on wet grass, it turns into mud, right? So when you have kids, dog, you out there, it doesn't drain, it just doesn't get enough sunshine to drain the water off, so it just stays mucky along the house, I would say.
And along those, I mean, I'm looking at it seems like your house faces mostly east, and the back of it is west, which is where the sun sets. So it's a little is there like a lot of trees is there a lot of shade back there? I mean, how does the sun not get there in the back, in the back?
You're right, so it gets the afternoon sun, like that 2, 3 o'clock, but imagine, like, yes, it gets the 2 to 5 window, but it really needs like that all day kind of sun to dry that spot. I don't know why. It just doesn't get enough. It's just, like, you're right, like usually at 1, 2 o'clock, like the backyard is all fully heated, because I have one of those AstroTurfs. That's how I know what you're talking about is right too, because it's at 2 o'clock, it gets burning hot. You gotta be careful not to step on it. That's in the back line, but back up along the house, I'm not sure if it's trees or what, but it stays a little bit more shaded there, and it just doesn't quite dry.
And where is that big arborvitae? Like, is it where?
We have 3 giant green arborvitae that we put in that are pretty big now, in between the spa where I show it on the thing. It's in between me and my neighbor's yard, the 3 that run this way, and I have 6 regular arborvitae that run the back as well.
And how tall are they now, ballpark?
The green arborvitae are like 8, 9, 10, and the giant greens are already like 15.
And your lot looks like 110 feet deep. And, all right. And are there any other trees like in your neighbors that are, we're just trying to see the cause of this.
We have, Adam's got a tree in the diagonal back that comes up and over. That probably catches some of that. That does catch some of it. At that 3 o'clock, that'll be kind of coming over like this. So the 1, 2 is pretty bright, and then right around 3, 4, you get some of the shadow setting in.
And then combine that with the clay soil. It's,
Yeah.
Doesn't drain.
Oh, the clay is,
I get it. Okay. Thank you.
clay is tough.
So, Mike, just a clarification, is there a requirement for 15 feet for the spa, or he doesn't need a variance to put the spa?
No, I'm
It's-
reading 3515.5 accessory buildings, 5 feet in the side yard and rear yard, so I think we're okay. As the chair indicated, it's 8 foot for the principal building, so without looking further, it's not gonna be less than that.
Okay.
And to further clarify, Mr. Warren did, in advance, several weeks ago, have a discussion with me that he wanted to increase his mitigation from his previous project, and so I can attest that it's acceptable, that would accommodate.
So you're comfortable?
I'm comfortable with it. Okay. So the only variance I see is the lot coverage, which is 38%, or 36% is the maximum.
So it's 2% variation.
2% over. It used to be 40, now it's 36%.
I've just missed it.
also has a 6,000 square lot where 7,500 is required.
Undersized.
Yeah, undersized lot.
Mm-hmm. Is there a requirement for a fence around the water? The spa? Or is it just a pool?
Yeah, I think it's just a pool.
Okay,
Like an above-ground pool, the vertical sides of it may act as the barrier, obviously.
right, because this would be
Yep,
raised.
Get electrical hookup, and gonna go to the building department, and they're
Right.
gonna tell him if he needs a barrier around it, but most of the ones I'm familiar with, standalones in backyards, probably don't have a fence around it.
I think a lockable cover is what's required, like what you talked about.
The,
Pool and spa code used to allow for many mechanisms of alarm, lockable covers. They may have changed over time, the building codes nationally, because unfortunately there are people that don't lock their covers and people do drown from it. But it's, I don't want to scare anybody, that's not what we're talking about here. So suffice to say, they need to get their building permit for the spa.
Yes, Bruce?
yeah, this would not fall within the definition of a pool.
Yep.
So none of those regulations that apply to a pool would apply.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members? Okay, and I'll open it up to the public. Are there any members of the public who have any questions on the application? None? We'll close that portion. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this application?
It's a conspiracy.
Listen, we really didn't plan to be here the same night.
This is absolutely
Yeah.
He's gonna come and object to his neighbor doing this.
Listen, I just want to be invited to the spa. I don't know.
We're just talking about block parties, I just want you to know.
Yeah, they planned them actually, so. But,
Just name and address again, but, and you're still
yeah,
under oath.
my name's Adam Watts. I live at 154 Baltusrol Avenue. I live diagonal from Greg, and, we do get a little bit of water in our backyard, and I'm actually excited for this dry well because I think that's going to even help us. So very pleased with the advanced measures he's taken to mitigate the impacts of his increased lot coverage. And yeah, I support the project.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public that wish to speak on this application? There are none. We will close that portion. Members of the board, thoughts?
I'll just say there's probably a reason why that's called Springbrook Road, and the fact that our engineer has approved or said that what you're doing for water mitigation is a good thing.
We definitely do have some water. When we did the addition, I wanted the builder to dig down 12 feet to have a bigger basement, and he knows the area, and he was like, you're probably gonna hit water, and we hit water at like that 10-foot mark, right there, so. He was spot on.
Yes, I'm in favor. I think your lot is undersized. I think you're taking, you're taking the steps to mitigate any potential issues that you may face with the increased lot coverage, which at 2% above the 36 might be seen as de minimis or nominal. But, so I'm in favor of the project. If everyone's in agreement, or if anyone's in agreement.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, guys.
And Harris, one, who was two?
I second.
Vice Chair Laufer.
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein.
Yes.
Mr. Furstenbaum.
Yes.
Mr. Sadat.
Yes.
Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
An extension of time, we didn't put it first? We didn't put it first? We should have just put this on first. Oh, okay. Next application is application 2019-8A, New Jersey American Water Company, Block 404, Lot 3, a extension of time request. Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name is Victoria Siegel with the law firm of Archer and Griner on behalf of the applicant, New Jersey American Water. The applicant is requesting an extension of approvals in relation to property located at 46 Morris Avenue, also known as Block 404, Lot 3. Just to refresh the board's recollection, on May 21st, 2019, this board granted the applicant's request for a use variance approval, preliminary and final site plan approval, and bulk variance approval for the applicant's proposed development of a public utility booster station. The grant of the use variance approval and the site plan approval specifically provided for the development of a 34-foot by 15-foot building that has access from both Warner Avenue and Morris Avenue and is surrounded by a 6-foot high security fence, together with new driveways, fencing, and utility infrastructure. There was also 3 bulk variances granted. The development of the 12,140 square foot property, which has a lot depth of 100 feet when a minimum lot area of 20,000 square feet and a minimum lot depth of 150 feet are required by ordinance. There was also a bulk variance granted to allow the 6-foot high security fence in a non-residential zoning district in the front yard. And then finally, the installation of entry safety signs at intervals of 50 feet along the perimeter fence when only one sign is permitted by ordinance. All 3 of those bulk variances were granted in addition to site plan approval and use variance approval. The applicant's approvals were extended under the Permit Extension Act through September 13th, 2022. And at this time, the applicant is requesting a 1-year extension until September 13th, 2023. The reason for that is the proposed booster station is a resiliency project. The type of project is intended to strengthen the system. However, in order to avoid certain funding issues, the applicant has dedicated its funds to other projects in the area at this time. However, it intends to complete this project by 2025. So at this time, we're only requesting a 1-year extension until 2023, but then if needed, we will come back to request additional time. Yeah.
We'll see you next year.
We have the project engineer here if there's any technical questions, but other than that, we're just requesting an extension of the approvals.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Bergen.
Thank you. Council has set forth the circumstance pursuant to statute. And I would note that part of the extension was due to the COVID emergency as well. So the statute does allow for a request for an extension either before or after the original timeframe runs out. So they are timely in seeking an extension through September of 2023. This statute does allow for up to 3 1-year extensions. It was my opinion that to ask that they come back each year, so this board is not making a decision now on an extension a year from now. There has been no notice to the public, and that is not required unless there's an extension past 5 years. So they are in conformity with all of the legal requirements.
Excellent. And I see no reason not to grant the extension. Yes?
I have one question. Has there been any changes to the site or anything done that would make this any different in this application?
No, no changes.
I think they demoed the building. That's it. That's not it.
There's no proposed changes to the previous approvals.
Okay, motion to approve the request for extension.
Second. She changed it up.
I heard a second.
She moved.
I have a motion.
I second. Vice Chair Cohen.
Yes. No. Yes.
Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Jane gets the big bucks. Vice Chair Lau.
Yes, and tell Bill Caruso hello.
I will.
Mr. Sada.
Yes.
Mr. Fursichbaum.
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in a year.
Is there any other business that needs to be discussed?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Great meeting.
No, we won't. We'll see you. Yeah.
Last month, thank you very much.
Yes.